Welcome, everybody, to the first look seminar, gentlemen. It's been quite a long year, but we're coming to the end. Just of Santa Anita, we've got plenty of gambling opportunities the rest of the year, as we all know. But closing day today, Gino, Skipper, and you hear me?
Chappie, is this like a horror movie?
Whoa! I don't know what's happening.
Whoa, yeah. That was like Halloween.
But the most important, yeah, exactly. Something's freaking out there. Most important thing, that guys, today is closing day, mandatory payouts, and especially the mandatory pick six payout, which is what we're going to be focusing on. Everything's got to go today. Giant fields, big card. Skipper, first thoughts before we get into the races.
I can't believe the meet's already over. I mean, I know it seems like a long meet, but boy, it sure flew by. And it was a great meet, and they've had great racing. And this weekend was great. Hopefully, we could end with hitting the pick six today and going out the meet a big winner.
We'd love to go out in style, Gino. I know that you had one of those days yesterday where you were all over everything, and you had a lot of bad trips and plenty of second-itis. So it's time to shake it off and move forward. I know yesterday was a tough one, but we got to move on.
It's one of those,
and I'm the worst at that. So
it's one of those times where I'm glad. What I always do is I always handicap like a couple of days ahead for that reason, because when I have a rough day and you have that bad taste in your mouth, you don't want to go sit down and look at a card because your energy is just not going to be the same, right? You're going to be like kind of bitter. You're going to be short. You're not really going to be diving in. So I try to get ahead when I have a really good mental state. And I'm glad on a night like last night, because I was already done. My handicapping had already been done. I didn't really have to dive into anything. So I could just stew in my misery, for a little while. And, big happy Father's Day shout out to everyone out there.
Yes.
And I thought this card in particular, the pick six, was brutally difficult in like a good way. It was hard. There's not going to be a bunch of short prices along the way. They found the biggest, most competitive races, and the way that the racing schedule is here in really all of California, but in particular Southern California, there's not a whole lot of racing over the next month. There's a few days at Los Alamitos, which does not have a turf course. Golden Gate just ended. So there's the fair racing up there in Northern California. And some of those places don't have turf courses either. So a lot of these horses, it's either run this weekend or don't have a chance to run for like a month.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, they did a great job of, like you said, full fields. Nothing.
But full fields, nothing
full
easy.
Fields, Gino, it might just be our show today.
I was gonna say it might be Skippy and Gino, because Chappie's having tech. Chappie, are you there? Yeah,
he froze.
He keeps freezing and checking in and out. Now he's going blood red there on the first look seminar. So, yeah, it's funny. He's over at Santa Anita in the studio, yet he's the one with the connection issues. You and I are fine.
Now we can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah. You might just need to go in and out, Chappie. Yeah. You might just need to go in and out. So,
yeah.
Well, you know what? While we're here, why don't we get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So for everyone who wants to play along today, remember, it starts in race number 6, and it's a mandatory payout. So even if you don't have a whole ton left in your bankroll, if you're in between checks, if you have a little bit, this is the wager, Skip, that you want to just put a small ticket in, because with the 20-cent weight base now, you play your top selections and the horses you really like all the way through. Won't cost you a whole lot. Or if you're someone who is looking for a big score, you can team up with a friend and you can, put together a much bigger ticket and take some big swings.
Right. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a ticket on my own, and then I'm going to split a ticket with a couple buddies. And It's a great sequence, like you were saying. And, one of my favorite races ever, is the San Juan Capistrano. Starting up on the top of the hill and going around. I love that race.
That traditional closing day feature. It's been that way for years and years and years. So anyone who wants to play along, race number 6, and wow, what a way to start it with a really difficult, like bottom level maiden claimer, going 5.5 furlongs. We've got maiden $20,000 claimers, and Aleniac from the rail, has not run since June of last year, takes a big drop down in class. That horse is going to get some money. Besame Mucho is going to be, well backed and supported. Arrest is another one who I'm sure will get some support. So who are you looking at to start out, and how are you looking to play race number 6?
I'm going to spread out in here to get it going. I don't like anybody real strong, but I thought Elenek from the rail, I thought that horse was sneaky. Vladimir Seren's having a great meet. He's winning at 27%. Yep. This is a first-time gelding. Like you said, it's coming off a long layoff, almost a year layoff, or about a year exactly to the date. Dropping to the bottom level. And this horse, the race that it came out of a year ago, Bruto was that was a Bob Affert horse for Michael Bello, and that horse won very impressively. Won by 6 that day, and the third place finisher came back to win. So that wasn't a bad race. And they put the Bug Boy on here. I think that's a little sneaky, trying to maybe give him a win. But I also would use the outside horse, number 9, Westfall. First time blinkers, first time Ruben Alvarado. This horse ships in from Turf Paradise. I love the outside draw. It didn't run a step at Turf Paradise, but why does JJ Hernandez jump aboard this horse?
Yeah.
The horse must be doing well. They told him something that he liked, and for him to be on the horse, that number 9, Westfall, is going to be on my ticket for sure. I'm also going to put in the 8, Turf to Dirt, dropping the bottom level, claiming, and Marquez has been having a good meet. And the horse is by Skip Shot. I got to use that one.
Yeah.
So
Jabby, that's why you pay us the big. We can see you and hear you now. That's why you big bucks.
Yeah.
We've been in this situation before. If you're gone, we just get started. We don't even wait for you.
Us old people, I screamed down the hall, so I had 2 guys run in here because I would have never gotten back online.
You were like the grandma or the dad on the FaceTime. Hey,
how do you use this thing?
Hey, it's like up your nose. Yeah. Hey, what's going down?
It runs in the family. Trust me. Yeah. So I left off Skipper. You're started on race 6 here.
I did. Gino and I talked about it a little bit. It's a tough race. I thought the 1 was sneaky with the Bug Boy, but I'm going to use 3 or 4, maybe even 5 in here. The 1's going to be on my ticket. I'm going to put the 3 on the ticket because Mullins is having a good meet. This horse shortens back up to a sprint, which I like. This horse is pulled. It's been rank. It's stumbled off slow. This horse, I think it wants to go short. I don't think this horse wants to go long. And the
9 is a sneaky one, right? Did you guys mention Westfall with Hernandez up?
Why is he getting aboard that one? I mean, the horse didn't run a step at Turf Paradise, but JJ Hernandez jumps aboard. I love the outside draw. First time blinkers, he wins 20%. So needless to say, I'm going to be using a few in here. The 1, the 3, the 4, possibly, and the 8, 9 for sure.
And I've got a bomb for you right off the bat. There's at least like one big price, and I think in every race that I'm probably going to be throwing in. The 7 is going to be on some of my tickets, Adriatic. So debuts, trouble, maiden claimers, kind of gets floated out, doesn't run a whole lot that day, but runs into a next out winner. They step this horse up and try on the turf, and then he runs into a horse who is solid, comes right back and wins next out. And what I love in that career starts number 2, 3, and 4, and all of them, he showed a ton more speed. In fact, he was showing legitimate sprint speed. He was like right on the lead in those sprint races. And then they went longer last time out, and they just sort of eased the horse because he just didn't want to go that long. Now he cuts back to 5.5 furlongs. He may just be able to kind of fall into a good spot here. If he's close up early in these bottom level maiden races where we know these aren't monsters and they don't really love to pass horses, right, if he can get into a decent enough position and just be sitting like in the top 3 or 4, the blinkers coming off, they can get him to relax a little bit. This horse might just be right there with some of these horses who don't love to win. So I'm definitely throwing him in on 1 or 2 of my tickets, cutting back from a mile to 5.5 furlongs because he does have some legit sprint speed and he has come out of some pretty decent races.
But before we move on real quick, and you guys probably already touched on this, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. I didn't look at the 7. The one sneaky odd horse that you don't know what to do with, the rail horse.
Yeah.
Worked against a good horse in the morning. Vladimir gelds it, drops it all the way to the bottom, and puts on a no-name jockey.
Yeah. No stop at 50. Not even like one of the higher level maiden claimers. You just immediately go down to 20 too.
I could see that horse running up the track or breaking well and winning by like 5.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's kind of the. All right, let's move on. We're one leg in. I missed half of that, but thank God I'm such an IT wizard that I'm back on. So, all right, Gino, leg 2, the San Juan Capistrano, which we always love, 1 mile and 3/4. What are you thinking here in race 7, second leg?
I mean, when I look at these, when I look at any race, I'm always looking at a few different things, and the way the race is going to shape up is always one of them, like the pace. How's it going to be? So who in this race is going to the lead? You know, I think it's going to be the 4.
Me too.
Dean Martini. And you know, when you start to go through this horse, so he's a grade 3 winner at 1 mile and 1/8. When you dig back in, he won the Ohio Derby. He has 5 turf races overall. 3 of them are in the money. The other 2, legitimate trouble. So when you look at his turf form at first glance, you're like, oh, he's not really a turf horse. But that's the thing. When you go race by race with these horses, like, you can eliminate races, right? Every race is individual. So you can't really treat things really generally a lot of times. That's what I love to do. And that's how I think sometimes you can find nice prices. So on March 25th, he was off for about 3 months. He comes into the Peter Urton barn. On March 25th, it's his first start for the new barn. He's sitting 3rd in the second flight. He's in the 2 path. He kind of backs up. He looks done. And then he moves inside and he comes on again. It was sort of a really weird race. And he was behind a couple nice horses that day. Vanzi, Master of Foxhounds, and Eckfrain. Last time out, he's 6th in the Whittingham in a much tougher spot. He tried to get closer early, but he got crossed over on. So you could tell they were wanting to get him closer early on. But again, it was sort of like bad circumstance in the race where he had to back up a little bit. And then what happened in that race, Beyond Brilliant just wins going gate to wire. What do you think the odds would be on Beyond Brilliant, Master of Foxhounds, or Gold Phoenix in this race? They would be the heavy favorite.
Yes.
Right?
Odds on. Yeah.
Any one of them would be. Now you got Maldonado jumping on, and immediately when you see Maldonado, what are you thinking? Speed, right? Like, he's going to get sent hard. There is nobody else in this race that seems like they want to go early on. Now it just comes down to, does this horse want to go 1 mile and 3/4? Right? Does he really want to go that far? But he should be out front winging it at 5-1 or over with a couple length lead here. He's classy enough when compared to the rest of this field. He's probably my best play in the sequence. I'm going to have at least one ticket where I think I single him and then go deep all around.
Skipper, I have to. This is called the magic of live TV. Once again, and it's closing day. So I'm gonna give you my opinion for 30 seconds, and I have to answer a text about a table for someone. But I had to do a tip sheet for Father's Day, and in order I went Red King, class and likes the distance, Dean Martini second, and then the up-and-comer Avenue third, so 5, 4, 3. And I agree with you on the 4. It doesn't have to wing it. There is so little speed. This horse should be walking on the lead if they can get this horse to relax at all, 3rd off the lay. Skipper, your thoughts and I guess you got to use Rajika probably in there too. Skipper, I'll let you talk while I answer this and get back to you.
Do what you got to do, buddy. Okay. I think Avenue's got a big shot in here. It's a 3rd try off the rest, which is often the horse's best. This horse wants to run all day long. First time out, they shipped it up to Golden Gate. I think they just wanted to get a race in. Didn't run bad. Lost by a length and a half. They come back here on May 7th. This horse had a ton of trouble. He broke from 10 out of 12. He was off slow, crowded upper stretch, finally got through, galloped out really nicely. This horse, he's just a plotter. So he just wants to keep going and going. He's got much more speed than I think he shows on the form. I mean, first time out at Gulfstream, it showed that he had speed going slow. This horse has got more speed than we think. If it's not on, I think it probably be laying right off Dean Martini. And like I say, it came in with a good work. McCarthy's having a great meet. This horse, they paid $450 for it. I think all along when they shipped this horse to California, I think the San Juan Capistrano was the goal for this horse. And here we are. I think the 3's got a big shot, but I'm going to be using your Dean Martini. Gino, you had great points there. It had, both turf trips last 2. trouble. So everybody, you're right. They're going to look at the turf record. Oh, it hasn't had a win, 0 for 5. But those are good races it comes out of. The race coming off the layoff, look at that time, 1:33.3. That's racehorse time right there. That was a really good race. And then coming back and Beyond Brilliant would be on, even money, 6-5 in this race, I think. So I like those two horses. If you're looking for a closer, of course, Red King and Rajika, the 8 horse, but I'm going to use 3 and 4 on my ticket. I like the 3 the best, but I liked what Gino said with the 4, and I like the price of the 4. So that's how I see it.
If we ever saw a lone F, that's it right there in Dean Martini. But right now, it's very hard to leave Phil D'Amato off of anything on the turf because he is just absolutely dominating. All right, let's move to leg 3, 6 furlongs on the turf, not down the hill. Skipper, what are your thoughts here in the 8th?
I've been so impressed with Fast Buck. Coming off the layoff from Del Mar, they betted it was 20-1 the day that it won by 7.5. They bet it down to 7-1. They had a bunch of people in the paddock and the winner's circle. They knew this horse was going to win that day.
And they bet it very, very late. It was about 17-1 with a minute to post, and then it was hammer time.
You know what we call that? We call that smart money.
Right.
They're waiting for the odds. If somebody sees that hit early, then more people jump aboard over this horse is live or whatever. It is a Calbred that's going against Open Company, which I'm a little skeptical of. And there is other speed in here. I don't know if there's quick as Fast Buck, but there is other speed in here. The one that I had my eye on was the one that JJ Hernandez got off, Southern Horse. He won 2 in a row. I know for, cheaper levels, 32 and 50,000, but won pretty nicely both times. Sadler, he's having a great meet. But then you got to give a look to the one that JJ Hernandez jumps aboard. Why is he getting off a 2-time winner for Sadler? This horse, the 12 Goliad, actually, it's by Warfront. It's bred to be a real nice one. Hasn't been out in a while, but the race that it comes out of, Evening Sun, that horse has come back to be a nice horse for Mullins, won a couple races, comes out of a couple key races. This horse, it's got a little bit of speed. I don't like the 12 hole going short on the grass, 6 furlongs, but hopefully JJ Hernandez could tuck in. And I think this horse will come running. Another one is Time to Party. We love the name. First time Lasix. Alvarado is training the horse. Maldonado's on the horse. It's got speed, but it also showed at Santa Anita last year that it could take back. So this horse is, that horse is another horse we got to use. Gino, what do you see? Do you see any other long shots maybe we could throw in there?
The one, maybe the 8. The 8 would be the only other horse because it looks like there are 2 major speeds in here, I think, with Fast Buck and with Trainer Please. I think those are the 2. If one of the 2 of them were to get away, that I would be a little concerned. So I probably might use the both of them. I like Southern Horse the most. It's so hard with the horse, like with his running style, to single a horse like this or really like build the ticket around. But I think he's probably the most likely winner of this race because it is probably likely that Fast Buck, Trainer Please both show some speed. We probably get a little bit from Time to Party. I wouldn't be shocked if Goliad has to just go really hard from the outside to at least early to get over and to try to secure position. So he's forcing everybody to go a little bit faster than they want to go. So Southern Horse will absolutely be on all my tickets and probably the one that I build a lot around in this one. With that type of running style, if one of these other speed horses got away early, you're in trouble with him. That's what makes it tough. But I like him coming into this race. I think he's in good form.
I'm gonna talk about 3 horses here. 2 of them you guys have already touched on. The 11 and the 12 to me. Obviously, the 11 was very well met from jumps. Flavian Pratt has ridden this horse every single time. They went to the Speakeasy, then the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Drawn outside, of course, Maldonado is known to send, but I think this horse can sit. They'd probably be a little bit, keen to go because it is coming off of a layoff. But I like the outside draw because of that. And the other one with the outside draw, I think Goliad's always been very well met.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, Hernandez jumps off a horse that's doing very well to go to Goliad. Goliad's another one. I think the outside draw is perfect because I think this horse can break well and then pick his spot and sit just off the pace. Last time out, Routing ran, had the lead the entire time to a horse that we know that won that race, Evening Sun, who's turned into a complete monster. The horse I don't know if you guys mentioned that I beg you to pay attention to is the 7 Raging Waters.
Yeah, he was good last time out. He was really good last time out.
If you look, this horse has only ran 2 times on the turf. The time before that had an absolute brutal trip. Then the last time out, granted it was down the hill, this horse won for absolute fun from off the pace. And if we're thinking there's so much speed in the race, let me tell you, both of those turf races were very, very impressive. And I wouldn't leave Raging Waters at 8-1, who might get overlooked off of any ticket for a trainer, Steve Knapp, who's doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, and the horse loves to win. It's won 5 out of 16. It's a multi-winner here, and some of them are only 1 winners. Southern Horse loves to win. I tell you what, I know it's not with the pick 6, but a great underneath horse that I will be keen in my superfectas is the 1. We talked about this horse last time.
I watched all 3 replays yesterday. Yeah,
he gets me every time too. I know this will probably be the one, especially because I had a couple fun rides with Curatolo yesterday. So today he'll come back on this. He'll come back on this one and get me.
If it didn't draw the rail, right, Skip? Because I think it's going to 2 back. We really pulled, but I think this horse is going to be so far back. But the horse can fly late.
I know, and he fits. Like from a class standpoint, he fits with this group. It's not like there are any monsters that really scare the heck out of you here.
Right.
Yeah.
Those last 3 races it comes out of, those are all great races. All of them. Air Force Red is one of our favorite horses. That horse is a monster. It ran against him, Burning Turf, Gold Phoenix. This, I don't think the horse could win, but I am definitely keen that horse underneath 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and tries and supers.
One horse that will come flying is that one. It might be way too late, but one of these days it's going to be that day for a Darr at a big price. So, all right, let's move on to race 9. This is 6.5 furlong maiden special weight. I'm going to do a couple different tickets. This race is a single for me on one ticket and a spread on another. And my single will come from the outside, which we always love horses drawn outside, not the far outside, but the 9 Hero Status. This horse has always been well met. I knew the first time out, they kind of gave it one anyways. Last time out, ran a very nice second to, of course, Hopper, who came back and won a graded stakes last time out. And this horse is working up a storm. I love the outside draw. Maldonado, I think they could go to the lead. They could sit just off. This horse relaxes. I think it's go time. 7-2 morning line doesn't bother me one bit. We got to remember when it gets to that race for a win bet, this is a my racehorse horse, so probably the odds will be lower on the win end that might show up in the pick 6 end. But there's many more I could talk about, and I'll get to, and I'll let you guys go over other, because otherwise I'm going to spread. But Hero Status will be a single on one of my tickets. I think Famous Star is very interesting. And Pray For Me, Ray, the 7 horse for Mike Pipey. That horse was off slow, has a lot of talent, and I think is set up to run big here second time out. What say you, Skipper?
I agree. I love Hero Status. It's one of my best bets all day. It won't be 7-2. It probably will be more like 8-5. I loved its last work. I put great work, not good work, great work on the 12th. I love the outside draw. I love the races that it's coming out of. Both of those horses are really good. Special Ride and Hopper just won the greatest stake. And then the 3rd place finisher last race came back to win. So that obviously was a key race. It's its 3rd race, which I think are, like I said earlier, often a horse's best. Getting into race shape. I know the 1 is training very well, but I don't like the rail draw, but I do like the way that horse is training. And then I think Gino likes this horse a little bit, is Chaos Reigns. I bet this horse last time. I thought it was ready to go, and then they interviewed Ellis, and he said, no, he said, this horse is like a work or two short. It's probably going to need a race. So you just throw that race out, and look who it's got. It got beat by Dream Chic, Defunded. Those are really, really nice horses. At 8-1 on my other ticket that I spread against the 9, the 5 definitely will be on my ticket.
No question. What about you, Gino? And by the way, just not that this means much, multi-platinum working very well, worked a tad better than Spooky Lady. Multi-platinum draws the rail. Spooky Lady debuted yesterday and actually drew the rail as well, ran up the track, didn't run that well.
Right.
I don't know if you can make it,
It's worth mentioning.
The rail's always tough, but this horse clearly has talent. But I was just trying to see what Spooky Lady did yesterday and compare it to today, Gino.
Yeah, and I like hero status is going to be pretty tough in here. The only thing that concerns me, and while I'll probably go like 5'9" in here with the two of them, he's a little bit faster than it might look on paper too. Like he's pretty quick. He was right with the leaders last time out, but a group of 5 all went to the lead. So he was like a little bit wide, and he was kind of backing off them just a bit, so he wasn't right up, but he was right in that group. Then he was sort of in between horses. He had to back out of a spot into the second flight, and then he angled around. I mean, he was good. He lost to Hopper. Shout out Stranger Things. Hopper just came back to win the Grade 3 Affirmed. He earned, I think, a 95 Beyer speed figure in winning that race. Even the third place finisher, Pioneer Papa, came back to win one of those high-level maiden claimers. It was a $100,000 maiden claimer for George Papadromo. So hero status in the mix for sure. I could see him getting sort of caught up. There are versions of this race where I think the 2 goes Patron de Oro. I think the 4 is probably close up. The 6 one-time mark was right there. The 8, is going to be close. I think with the 5, they're going to sit this time. I think he got the lead and was forwardly placed because he was coming off of a long layoff last time out. He was fresh. I actually like it. I think he'll get a lot out of that race, knowing that he has a little bit of speed now just to keep him from getting outrun. But I hope he's sitting like 4th or 5th in here, mid-pack. That would be the ideal trip for me. Second start back off the long layoff. I know when you just sort of look at the races that he comes out of too, they actually outfinished Patron de Oro when they raced against each other way back when, and Patron de Oro is like a little shorter price than him. I like Chaos Reigns in here, and that meet that Ron Ellis has been having is kind of under the radar too. There's a few people who have been having these like incredible meets. You look down and you're like 40%. Wow.
Right.
Like he's really, really firing right now.
Right.
And the one thing, this is the reason we play here and we watch it every day, and we know every trainer, what they do, what they don't do. No one, well, not no one, but he's in the top 3, is more patient than Ron Ellis.
With first-time starters.
His first time out, it's clearly on pure talent. He gives them a race every time. Yep. So coming off the layoff, just like he said, once again, he's giving them a race. He races them into shape. If there's a hair missing, he's gonna back off. So clearly, I'm sure the goal was, like he said on TVG, this time was the race to watch for. Last time, after a long layoff,
you got exactly what you would have wanted from him, right? He actually improved a little bit from age 3 to age 4 by speed figures. He got a little bit better. He showed speed. He just tired, which we could all understand why, going, hard and like battling. He had never been up that close before, and he battled it out. And so I feel like he fits pretty well in here, but the 9's going to be very, very tough. You mentioned Famous Star. I think I'm more of like a Big Mac guy myself, to be honest. But with the blinks coming on, he loomed up wide, and he actually took the lead, and he kind of hung a little bit, and he drifted. So the blinker should probably help give him more focus. I don't know if I love him, though, going a little bit longer. I got to see it from him.
All right, let's move on to race 10. We've got 2 left. Hopefully everyone is 4 for 4, and we are going down the hill, gentlemen. So Gino, what are you thinking here? 6.5 furlongs down the hill. Interestingly enough, I believe there is one horse in the entire sequence that has gone down the hill one time, and that would be Christie's Tiger. And no other horse in this entire group has ever tried the Turfside Hill course, which is very interesting because we know it's strictly a horse for course type of race, which makes this race even trickier. Gino, what say you down the hill?
I'm using the maiden in this race, the 10 on my ticket, Sunny Morning. So this is a horse who we've all played a bunch of times, right? We've all chased this horse many times, and she's got ability. Talent is not her issue. She just can't really put it all together. Like if we look at some of the horses that she ran into along the way, Accelerina, who came back and finished third against Grade 2 Company. You've got Queen of the Temple, who came right back to finish third against Grade 3 Company. And she was a little bit slow in some of her races. Last time out, they sort of dropped her a notch into a maiden $100,000 claimer. And what I like about that race is because they were dropping her and she was one of the better horses in that race, and because there was no speed, one horse went to the lead and she tried to show more speed to chase because she had to. She couldn't sit way, way back or she would have been just completely outrun. So she got that was the most speed that we've seen from her in any of her races positionally, where she was just closer up sort of by needing to. This is the type of tricky turf course that might fit a filly like this, who's kind of quirky. She's slow. Now the plan is just going to be to sit back and to launch to the outside and to make one late run. And it all comes down to, does Respectfully, Del Mar Drama, do we get After Midnight in the mix also? Do we get, Laylac? Are there 4 or 5 horses in this big field showing some speed, going 6.5? Am I going to single this horse? No. But in a sequence like this, when you're looking for big bombs in big races, this is a horse who who in this race, again, I've said this before, who scares you in here? There are no monsters. There are 7 or 8 horses that you can make really strong cases for, but she's not overmatched by talent. She's just got some reasons why she hasn't been able to put it all together. I hope she comes flying late, and I'll use her with, a few others. The 4, Speed Lane, probably going to be in the mix for me. A new face for Vladimir Serin, cutting back from going a little bit longer. The 2, Del Mar Drama, she's kind of sneaky. She's not really one that overwhelms you, but you start looking at her last 6 or 7 races and you can't really knock much of what she's done. She's just kind of a nice horse who's a multiple winner on the turf. She feels like she fits pretty well in here. You guys could tell me 6 or 7 horses that I wouldn't talk you off of. So this race is brutally difficult. If I feel that way and I'm going to spread, I definitely want to make sure I've got a couple bombs on my ticket, like Sunny Morning.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, there, I think the morning line favorite is 4-1, and that's coming off of a layoff, the 4 horse for Vladimir Serin. Skipper, we could go all day talking about different horses, so I'll touch on a couple and then I'll let you touch on a couple. I think the 8 Laylick is interesting for a couple reasons. First of all, any horse who's 3 for 4 over the Santa Anita turf course has got to be used. If you cross out the time this horse went a mile, it's ran huge every time other than its debut. And then the last time out when it was off slow and had some trouble and then went on the bench. So I think, a horse who loves any turf course, you got to use. And then the 7 Feathers at 5-1, Feathers all of a sudden went from a claiming 40 to running a close 4th to Going Global, who would obviously be 1-9 against this group, and then ran a respectable 4th last time to Mraz. So facing much easier, coming out of route races, probably will be coming from out of the clouds. But you could go in many different directions. That's just a couple I wanted to mention, Skip. What about you?
I'm going to make it real easy. I will be winning this race because I'm hitting the all button. I can't make heads or tails of it. And when I do that, I'm going to single in a couple different areas. I'm going all and just hoping I get the right horse. I think the maidens, Sunny Morning, like Gino said, I even think the 11, Chloe's Crown. This horse didn't run bad first time out. I know it's a 3-year-old going against older, but she ran against older last time. And Song came back to win yesterday. It looked like this horse kind of needed that race. I mean, at 20-1, I'm going all and just hoping for some crazy bomb here. I like the 12 a little bit, coming out of good races. Stella Noir, Park Avenue. I mean, that horse is coming out of good races. So I'm going to make it easy. I'm hitting the all button.
Al's bigger brother, all.
Yeah.
Well, as we always say, a lot of times the all button is your friend. So let's
Yeah.
hope it is in that race. But one thing about the all button in that race is the winner's probably going to be 7-2.
Yeah,
at
you won't
best.
be like, it won't be one of those situations where you know who's gonna win as soon as you press the all button, the 6-5 favorite, right?
Right.
Because you're better off when you're pressing all in those cases, you're better off just not using the shorter prices unless you like a big price later in the sequence and you're just getting through it, which might be the case in this one, right? Like there are going to be other races where you probably have a 5, 8, 10 to 1 shot. In this case, Skip's just going to turn it into a pick 5.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, the favorite in that race will probably be 5-1.
Yeah.
Morning line is 4-1, but that's
2 at best, right? At best. Yeah.
Right.
So even if you hit the all button, you got a $9, $10, $11 winner. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but you want the 20 to 1s, 15 to 1, and every time I hit the all button, guess what happens, guys?
Chalk City.
Chalk City. 90% of the time, it's unbelievable.
Not today. All right, we finish it out, which I love it. First of all, you got a grade 3, a mile on the turf, finishing out this pick 6 sequence. We're thinking it's going to be around 3 million, the pool somewhere in there. So a lot of money up for grabs, as we've been talking about. Full fields, wide open races, tough singles. We're all talking. There isn't a 4 to 5 in any sequence. So hopefully everybody's alive for stacks. I've gone back and forth to this race. We just talked about Vanzi in a common race earlier with somebody we liked. There's many ways you can go. Triple E, is Triple E better on the dirt? I think so. The horse I'm leaning towards that I might even make as my other single to close out the day would be Hong Kong Harry. Hong Kong Harry was supposed to go in a grade 1 about a month ago and had a little foot issue, came back. This horse has tactical speed. D'Amato's on fire, 2 for 2 in the U.S., and I think is a rapidly improving sort. I'm leaning towards Hong Kong Harry. I think the other horse for Phil D'Amato, Greg Darr, is interesting.
That's can I jump in there with Greg
Sure.
Darr? So yeah, that's the horse who I like. I'll probably use like 3, 4 on most, but I may play one ticket with Greg Darr, especially because I mentioned a few times I had a couple tough trips with Ryan Curatolo yesterday. So I'm going to be alive coming into this last race and need him with Greg Darr to right the ship for me for everything that happened yesterday. It's like a movie. I'm playing it out in my head right now. I got the script already written. So let's look at Greg Darr. We mentioned the race that he came out of before. Any of those 3 horses are heavily favored in this race, right? Beyond Brilliant, Master of Foxhounds, Gold Phoenix, who we saw come back yesterday. So let's look at his last 2 races. He goes from 6.5 to 1.25 miles, which is not easy to do, right? To go from that progression, but he actually ran well in both of those races. He ran behind Burning Turf, and then he came back and he ran 4th behind the 3 horses who were a little bit better than him. Burning Turf on April 9th had won 3 in a row. You start to look back at his races. So he lost to Award winner, who's a grade 2 winner, who won that race next out. He lost to Order in Law, who was in the middle of a 3-race win streak. Then he runs into Mucho del Oro, who was really, really sharp and was a monster at that time. You see, he beats Whisper Not, who's a grade 3 winner. And Whisper Not actually has good form to look in this race. Whisper Not beat Tripoli in Tripoli's form when you look and dive down in. Like, just looking at his speed figures from his last 2, aren't they as right there with everybody else's? Like, he fits right there. And he cuts back a little bit from 1.25 miles, which was probably just too far from him. And we know he's won at 1.125 miles, so it's not like distance should be an issue for him. Look at his win last year in February. Those couple races in a row where he got really good and he earned like a 95 Beyer speed figure. Buyers aren't my end all be all, but there's like a fun measuring stick, at least, to sort of look how horses could stack up. He fits really, really well in here to me. And I'm going to be using 3, 4, I think, on all my tickets. Vanzi's just really versatile right now. He's gotten really, really good. He was 4 off. He was in between horses. He's probably a little farther back than I thought he was going to be in that last race. He moved up and around and was a really good second behind Evening Sun. So Yeah, I'll probably be 3-4 on all my tickets.
Evening Sun, who we all loved quite a lot that day in the San Francisco Mile. All right, Skipper, what say you? And one question to you that we haven't touched on. What do you do with the one horse for Papa Mandela, who's kind of the wild card in this race?
I like Hong Kong Harry because it's been very impressive. It's got that big, long stride, good horse. The one's going to be on my ticket. The one, I've been watching all the workouts. The best work to date was its last one. And I didn't put good work. I put great work. Throw this last race out at the San Francisco Mile. It broke 14 out of 14. Jessica Pfeiffer was on it. This horse was, 6, 7, 8 wide the whole way around the track. And when you do that, guess what? You're going to finish last. You're going to lose all that ground. You have zero chance. That's a throwout race. The first race at Santa Anita, I liked it that day. It's coming out of grade 2s, grade 1s, grade 3s over in, in France. Those are great races. Those races win this race, obviously. Rispoli jumps aboard again, but that day that it ran against Vanzi, it looked like it was making a big move. Then it started lugging in a little bit. So they put the blinkers on. I think this horse is set for its best race, and I love the price at 4-1. I love it breaking from the rail. Let the horses go, tuck in like the Euros do, get a great ground-saving trip, swing out, and just go by him. I think the one's ready to go today. It's going to fire a big shot. Another one I want to mention is the 8. I gave this horse out last time, Homer Screen. This horse for Drysdale, this horse could run. Both of those races it comes out of, the one at Del Mar, the Wicker Stakes, it ran sneaky good that day. It got beat 2.5 lengths. But it ran better than that. I mean, it was sneaky good race. Last time it ran good also from the inside coming down the hill in the grade 3 Daytona. And it looked like it ran like a horse that needed the race to me. I think this horse might be set now at 15-1. I'm going to use this on one of my tickets. That's for sure.
All right. Two things left. We'll go through one horse here, and then we'll each give our best bet of the day, and we'll call a day. We'll be about 45 minutes into the sequence. Is anyone using Tripoli on their ticket?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
I'm not.
Okay. 4-1, very interesting. I think better on dirt. This just seems like a prep for something else down the line, whether it be the Pacific Classic. It's kind of an odd spot, but
he had a knee chip removed. So he's been working well. It's not like he would be in this race if he wasn't ready and physically okay. Right. But I just think I want to see it first. When horses get a little bit older, off a little bit of a layoff like that, he's been on dirt recently. Like Chappie said, there's enough reasons to where he'll probably be a shortish price for me to say, I'll let him beat me and play elsewhere. Although if I'm alive in the pick 6 at this point and I don't have him on the ticket, I probably would like to have had him on the ticket at sitting 5 for 5,
All right, gentlemen, real quick, best bet of the day. Your if you had to do one ticket in single, who will it be? Skip.
It's going to be the 9th race, the 9. That's the one that I like. I like Hero Status and Awful Lock today. That would be my best bet.
That is mine as well. So, Gino, what do you? What's your single in here?
Dean Martini. That's going to be the single for me. I usually don't single chalky horses. So just because it's a big pick 6 race day, why would I do things differently?
Right.
That's the way that I play. So if I'm right and that horse wins, I'm going to feel really good about the coverage I have in all the races around it. And I'll also have bet this horse to win if he's over 5-1. So I'll hopefully get rewarded on that end also. Challenging sequence, man. Just diving into this the other night. It's going to be tough to whittle a ticket down right now when I start doing the surgery, playing a little operation right now. It's not going to be easy. Yeah.
Well, one way or another, and hopefully it'll be a celebratory one, we're all going to have a Dean Martini at the end of the day. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. Everybody, good luck. Let's hit this pick 6, take it down at closing day. So let's enjoy it and have some fun and win some dough. Thanks, guys.